going to be, we run it at the same time, we pick it back.
I'm Emma Frankland. I've been the lead artist on We Dig. I am responsible for having the idea of bringing people together to dig a big hole. I was in Brazil a few years ago with a show, and I was speaking with a trans person there who was talking about, in their words, a genocide that's happening in Brazil against trans people. And they said about how there was a need to bury our knowledge until the apocalypse passes. And I think there was something about the idea of a trans community burying knowledge that really stuck with me. And then I've been wondering about, where are we? Where is the apocalypse? Is it behind us? Are we trying to dig up history that we've forgotten, or is it coming? And are we trying to bury things for the future? And probably it's a little bit of both of those things. And then I just really wanted to get a group of trans people, a group of trans feminine people together, and to dig a hole and to see what would come from that process. And this is what has come from that process.
Emma finishes, facing forward, the game.
Emma and I have done work together in the past, and she cornered me in a room and said, I want to demolish a building. And I said, how do I sign up? Theatre is a huge part of Britain's history and current culture. And when a whole group of people are not actively reflected in that, that means they're being kept out of culture. I feel like we haven't had moments in recent history where trans people are collecting together in a show that isn't in a basement, that isn't on one night, that has support and institutions. I almost think it's less important what people figure out what we say when we're on that stage, and more important that the fact that we are taking up the space.
This is a really unique opportunity to bring together not only multiple trans feminine people, but even people from all over the world, literally.
Actually, came from Indonesia, and a lot of trans people or heterosexual people, they didn't really understand about the transgender culture in Indonesia. For me, it's really important to dig that knowledge and spread out as an information.
Oh wow, it's been such a deep experience. The physicality of getting into digging together. How often do we get to be physical with each other, you know, in that sort of way?
The process has definitely at times been really challenging. I think, you know, we've brought together a large group of people who have overcome a lot just to be living authentically as themselves. There's been difficulties, but we've always been able to move through the difficult moments towards a sense of togetherness, which is great.
I think it would be really silly to suggest that you get a group of trans people together and suddenly all the issues that go with making art in general disappear. But what's been so great about this is watching how a room of trans people deal with that, and that's something new for me. And what I've loved about this room is that we're complicated artists together working, and that's been really refreshing to see.
Emma's doing something quite revolutionary in making this process as safe as possible. It's really, really important to have somebody like me as part of the company to make sure that everybody comes out of this feeling good about themselves.
Dig, dig, dig. We have come to dig a hole. We have come to dig a hole.
Over the years, Oval House described themselves as always being a home for people who couldn't find the space to tell their stories anywhere else. Especially now, right now, there's definitely a need for trans people to be telling our own stories, not the stories that are being told about us. And the fact that we're able to do that as the final performance in this building, I think that's really significant and really appropriate for the history of this building to honour that.
Having a trans creative team means that even the people in the room are able to view it from a trans lens as well. And we're not having to worry about, oh, how will the cis audience take this, or how will cis people react to it? It's all been about, but how do we react to it?
It's not often that trans people get to make work that's not either mainstream or not very specific to a genre or the other. We're not sort of allowed to play. So I'm really excited to see what the show is going to do with all of that.
I spoke to my therapist and I asked about how I could find other trans people like myself, and I was told that I would have to fly that flag for myself. But you know what? I don't want to do this one by myself.
This piece is really special because it allows people in and outside of the LGBT community to connect to the human parts of that experience.
When trans people take the stage, they are behind the scenes, they're there throughout every step of the way. You just end up with an incredible journey and story and narratives, plural, that are showing us and the world that trans people are so much more than just being trans.
It's not an obligation to share all our life stories, but it's a chance for us to do what we want on stage. So, you know, for example, for myself as a performer, what I think is really important in this whole process of digging and excavation, that we also think about growth and land, and that's why my character talks about gardening in the future.
Don't worry, I got you, okay? You're gonna eat. I'll grow food for you.
Be able to speak on a plethora of issues is really powerful because the perspective is different.
I think this show does a lot more than education. We don't get into memoir, we don't get into transition stories, and instead we're speaking from and to our community about what it means to be together and work together, and that we don't exile each other, that we don't throw each other away in the same ways that society, cis straight society, often throws us away.
Like a lot of the times I feel like in order to connect with my work, I've got to disengage from my body in order to be able to do it. But this, it really forces you to connect with it. Like, you can't do this unless you're sure that you've got a body.
This is a trans-led cast on the stage and behind the scenes, and I think that is so important, and British Sphere need to wake up to it.
In my country, being trans or being part of LGBTQ people, there's a lot of problems. That's why I came here and I just want to dig until I hit my limit. Did you hit your limit yet? Of course. Yes, I think.
I mean, this show has everything that I love in it. It has fire and physical tasks.
Do you know what rocks actually are? They are substances formed by pressure. Like us, right? We are children of stress. The absence of something that used to be there. Like this hole.
As a trans woman, I think it's really important that we're not just seen as you know, expressing one kind of femininity, and that, you know, certainly for me it's important to also be able to demonstrate my strength. So I think that's really exciting to me, and someone's listening to the show, it's nice to get dirty with a group of other trans people.
Work, and my body do